'tis I, ye old village art weirdo. Today, I'm going to be drawing a scene from the critically acclaimed, probably, movie Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, which is why I look so fabulous right now. I am notoriously behind on new and cool movies, and I don't remember when this movie came out, but it certainly wasn't this year. And I finally just got around to watching it about a month ago-ish, maybe a little less, and it was a journey. It was something. If you haven't watched it, you should go do that, because then what I'm doing will be a little more cool maybe, and a little less weird maybe. It's a really good movie, and it has a great cast. In particular, I was absolutely obsessed with every outfit that Jobu Tupaki wore, and so that inspired this sketchbook spread. But also, I got a new sketchbook. That was actually the entire basis of this video to begin with. Let me go get it. This sketchbook, it's, I think this is a Strathmore, and it's a mixed media sketchbook. And I've heard many good things about it, and I don't have a mixed media sketchbook, so I really wanted one. And I got it because I like using different sorts of media all in one piece, and I wanted to test every medium that I had, hence Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I was going to use every media that I owned in the sketchbook at once. I'm not gonna waste any more time on this intro. Let's go draw. After gathering pretty much every medium that I own, minus a few crusty ballpoint pens and some grade school highlighters, I was ready to get started with testing. Now, I really didn't have like a special way that I wanted to do this medium test. It's actually my first time ever doing this in a new sketchbook, and I kind of got inspired by bullet journals because I know that a lot of people do pen tests at the beginning of their bullet journals, and I was like, I should do a medium test. And it basically was just my way of testing out whether the paper would have any kind of negative reaction to some of the medium that I would be using. And so I tried to build up the layers a little bit, and I tried not to skimp on the water because I wanted to test for puckering. And all in all, I was really quite pleasantly surprised with how this paper performed. Really the only thing that bled through were the alcohol markers, and that's just in the nature of alcohol markers. And even with graphite, in the past I've had a lot of trouble with sketchbooks smudging really heavily with graphite, and this one, I feel like it really was moderately less than most. But yeah, here's the back. As you can see, there is some slight puckering and a little bit of ghosting, but nothing much. This is some decent paper, guys. If you're familiar with the film, then you probably know that there are several versions of the main antagonist, Jobu Tupaki. Now, that's Jobu Tupaki, not this Tupaki. If you're unfamiliar with the film, Jobu is the protagonist's daughter, and she has essentially been split across the multiverse, and so she appears in various forms, in various dramatic, diva, crazy garb, and it's just amazing. I love it. The first Jobu that I decided to draw is Goth Jobu. I just absolutely adored like the elements of her outfit, all the different textures. I just thought it was really cool. So that is what I'm drawing here. And This is the day that I actually went to the park and started doing some colored pencil work after I had already laid down all of my baselines and worked through several versions of her face because, as you know, I am an artist who is currently attempting to develop a style, and so that means that I spend a lot of time trying to figure out what looks right and what doesn't for my own purposes. Going into the next phase of Goth Jobu, I decided I would lay down some watercolor. After doing these little details on 50-ish little rosettes on this shirt, I went in with my Sakura Jelly Roll pen and added some little white highlights to kind of make them stand out. And then I also used my Uniball metallic pen in silver to add some studs to her belt and to her little leggings and stuff. And moving right along, next up on the drawing board is Chaos Jobu, who I think just looks super cool. It reminds me of like a Picasso painting, obviously. Got the cool cubism thing going on, and if you remember, this is who I showed up as at the beginning of the video. The makeup was really fun to do, by the way, even though my little lip area was stained red for like 24 hours. Yeah, I just did this one pretty simple with the colored pencil and then a little bit of ink later on. And now for the final Jobu, my favorite. We have the K-pop version of her, and I just love so many things about this look. Her name across her forehead spelled out with her hair, all the little accessories that she has. She's wearing a teddy bear jacket, which is just awesome. Yeah, this one was definitely my favorite, and I wanted to leave most of the graphite intact for this one. And then just add like a little bit of color here and there, and I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. The last thing I did to wrap up this spread was just adding some little details because, of course, you know, I'm not gonna leave this without embellishment. So I went with some stars and some little squiggly lines and just stuff like that, just to make it a little bit more fun. All right, so here's the finished product. Hey, my eyes are up here. All right, folks, it's time for a super professional art critique. Basically the part of the video where I talk about my art and I try not to be really mean. Pull out my emotional support here real quick. Okay, let's get into it. So here is the finished piece. You know, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm kind of mostly in love with K-pop Jobu. Okay, don't be mean. I am not really vibing with Chaos Jobu. I think the color selection just made her kind of scary looking. She looks scared and scary at the same time. Goth Jobu, killing it. I really like the limited color scheme here. I was really happy with the way that some of the color pencil showed through, and then I really liked doing all the little highlights with my juicy pens. And yeah, I don't know, Jobu as a K-pop star is just my favorite. I really like that it's mostly in graphite, which if you've heard me rant about it before, I always think that my graphite sketch looks way better than the finished product. So this time I just left the sketch as is and, you know, obviously added that pop of color, and I don't know, I'm happy with it. I feel like it looks really chaotic, kind of like the movie, and I'm really glad that this is the first spread in my new sketchbook. You guys, let me know what you think. I just like to experiment and I like to be creative, and I just kind of go where the spirit takes me. So if that's something that you're cool with, then please hit subscribe and follow along. And if you'd also do me a favor and like this video, I'd really appreciate it. So thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. That's Mr. Potato Head to you.